Hey SOCOM, it's Hannah, your wheelchair basketball coach. I hope everyone's doing wonderful. I'm so excited to be able to communicate with you guys, even though it's going to be virtual. I know things are a little crazy right now, but I'm hoping to share some wheelchair basketball information with y'all, and I'm so excited to meet the new folks that are being recruited this year, and I can't wait to see everyone who's played before. I've been with SOCOM for 6 years now, and I've been doing adapted sports for a bit over 13 years. I work for Houston Parks and Recreation Department right now, running adapted sports in Houston, and I am this year's Invictus head coach for the Ukrainian team for wheelchair basketball. So exciting things to come, hopefully when things get back to normal. For this video, I just want to go over a little bit of strategy and a little bit of wheelchair position. A lot of people wonder about fouling in wheelchair basketball. Can you hit each other's chairs? Are you gonna fall out of your chair? Are there jump balls? Are you able to block a shot? How does that work? So I'm gonna go through a few different videos with some of my Houston athletes to show you guys examples of what to do and what not to do whenever you are on offense and defense and trying to get the ball. So stay tuned for a second and I will show you what's next. Our first video clip is going to be of a chair foul. This is whenever one chair goes directly and hits the other chair. This is against the rules. One of the most common things that happen with new wheelchair users or new athletes, they get in the chair and they just run and ram into each other. There's another sport for that. It's called wheelchair rugby. We'll talk about that later. But wheelchair basketball, you can't just run straight into each other. Just kind of like in able-bodied basketball, you can't just slam straight into each other. So here's an example of what not to do, and it doesn't matter if you have the ball or don't have the ball. I have an example of one of each. Both of these ways, no bueno. So those were a couple of examples of things you are not allowed to do in wheelchair basketball. No intentional ramming, can't run straight on your opponent like that. A few other things, sometimes it can get really frustrating if a person is faster than you. If somebody zooms down the court and you're right behind them, you kind of want to come up on their chair like this. That is also illegal. You're not allowed to do that either. So if someone has the ball and you want to stop them, you have to get proper chair position, which we'll go over. But for right now, for another don't do this. Also, if you come up on your opponent and you hit their chair behind the axle, this is what the axle is, and if you hit them back on this end, it's going to cause their chair to spin around. And this is the majority of the falls that you're going to see. Again, these chairs are made for you not to fall. The wheels are cambered out, and you do have the wheels in the back. But if you do come in and slam on your opponent's chair on the back, it could cause a safety issue. So that's another don't things to do that will cause you to foul. And you only have 5 of those. So this is not good. Here's another shot of the don'ts. All right, now that you guys have seen a lot of the don'ts for stopping chairs and the different fouls that usually happen, we're going to show you how to properly stop a chair. So if the red chair is on defense, the gray chair is on offense, the red chair needs to get chair position. So they need to get in front of the axle here. So then they're going up next to the chair, and then the gray chair can't go anywhere. A lot of times in wheelchair basketball, we use the out of bounds lines to our advantage. So it's almost like you have a 6th player out there. So if the out of bounds is over here, then I'm going to have the red chair stop them between the out of bounds and the floor. So we always want to guide our offensive players away from the basketball goal. So here's a couple examples of how to properly stop a chair whenever you're on defense without fouling. Awesome, so now you can kind of see where your chair needs to be to properly stop your opponent. Another question that's commonly asked is if there's jump balls in wheelchair basketball, or if you're allowed to reach into the opponent's lap to grab the ball. So yes, jump balls are the same as able-bodied basketball, as long as you don't hit the player. So you can certainly grab the ball if it's right there, but if you grab the player, that will be another foul. So here's a couple examples of the jump ball. So with that video, you can kind of see that your height doesn't matter, it matters your chair position. You can stop the biggest guy in the world as long as you have chair position on them. One of my guys is 7 feet tall and the other one is a strong 4.5 feet tall, and it doesn't matter because he had the chair position on the bigger guy. So moving forward, we're going to talk about defense whenever someone is shooting the ball. How do you play defense when someone is bigger than you? So we're gonna go on the first couple videos, you're gonna see the guys playing defense, foot plate to foot plate. Kind of like we talked about how those fouls were not good. Foot plate to foot plate on defense is also not good. You'll see that leaves you this much space to shoot. So if I'm in a chair and my opponent is way in front of me, I have days and days to shoot the ball. So on offense, I would tell you to shoot the ball. On defense, I would tell you to move your chair because that gives you way too much space to let the person shoot. So watch this, and this will be an example of on the don'ts for defense. So you can see there that whenever our defensive player turned to the side, his arm was huge, so it got all the way in the other guy's face. So that's much better. There's no space to shoot. Even better when he turned around, not hitting chairs, but turned around and bent backwards. Then you've got two hands almost, or a hand way in the opponent's field of shooting. So that makes it way more difficult. So that's the only way for you to really defend against a taller player or any player of any size, because that takes away the whole shooting space. So that is where you should be when you are trying to make somebody miss a shot. So today we went over some do's and don'ts of defense, some chair positions, some strategies on how to compete with players who might be faster or stronger or bigger than you. I hope you guys are doing wonderful. I can't wait till things get back to normal and to see everyone and hopefully have some new players and some super competition for the next games. Have a great one.